The big 5-0. Yes, 50. Welcome back to another episode of the Durkin Impact Show. And no, I am not 50. Not yet. But today is the 50th episode of the Durkin Impact Podcast. Can you believe it? 50. We started this bad boy in August 19th, 2019, and we have created 50 whopping podcast episodes. And today is a celebration. Today is a compilation of a few of my favorite episodes, 7 to be exact, 7 different episode highlights, just 2 or 3 minutes long, so you can celebrate with us. Now, a few things we look back over 50, I think you're really going to enjoy this episode today, is I've learned some lessons in the last several months. In 50 episodes, you'll learn a few things on this. And here are my 5 lessons before you hear some of my favorite clips. So you're going to be inspired today. Lesson number 1 is I love doing podcast episodes. I love them. I love the conversations. I have met and talked with some pretty amazing people in these episodes, right? I know you've loved a lot of these conversations, and so have I. Second is I thrive on your comments. I thrive on your feedback. Please keep them coming because I listen and read all of them. I like that. Number 3, I've learned that podcasts are hard to do. Now, I got to be honest with you. When I started in August, I told my team that, I'm going to need the team. It's going to probably take about 5 hours a week of my time to do the podcast, and I allocated 5 hours. But anything worthwhile always takes longer than you think. And 10 plus hours a week do I personally invest in this podcast, and I love it. So that's a lesson learned, right? Anything that you're working on many times takes a lot longer to do if you want to produce and create a great product, program, or even a podcast. Number 4 is it takes an army. It takes a village to do the podcast, and I am so grateful for my team. Julie, Zach, Jess, Kayla, Emilianne, and Kira, they all make magic happen. You know, you hear my voice, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are working round the clock, literally, sometimes 7 days a week, to make sure that every Monday and every Thursday that the Impact Show is showing up. So thank you for listening because my team certainly is working hard. And also a big shout out to my sponsors who've made this happen. You know, podcasts are free for you to listen to, and I want to make sure that we continue to bring the heat in the next 50. But special shout out today to Theragun, Carnosine Beta-Alanine, MyZone, and Under Armour for being great sponsors in these first 50 episodes of the Durkin Impact Show. And lastly, and then we'll get into today's episode, is it's all about purpose. It's all about purpose. It's all about impact. And impact is all about you. Each and every episode, I'll pray beforehand, think, how can I touch one person today? Who's listening today as they prepare, as they get ready to go teach in school, as they get ready to go to work, as they're driving to school or driving to work or driving the kids, or you're working out, you're on a walk, you're at the gym, you're in your home gym, you're at some fancy gym, you're on an airplane. You know, we have people all over the world listening in. And I always think, what is the one message that you can glean out of this episode that's going to make a difference in your day, your week, your month, or your life? So even today, as we look back in this compilation, my hope is that you're going to look back, and out of just 7 of these 50 episodes, that you'll be remembered some of the great quotes and conversation I had. And I highly encourage you to go back because there's been some great content in the first 50 episodes. Matter of fact, check this out. Speaking of you, we've had over 75,000 downloads in the first 6 months. That's a lot, my friends. We've had 248 5-star ratings on iTunes. That really helps us move the needle so we can ultimately fulfill our purpose and my purpose to impact more people. Please keep those 5-star ratings coming. And we've had hundreds of written reviews. The ratings and reviews help us so much so that my team, my army, all of the sponsors can ultimately help you be the best version of yourself. So please don't forget, please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, write a review, And please continue to share these episodes as they help get the word out to the universe. My friends, today is a celebration, 50, the big 50 of the Todd Durkin Impact Show, the 50th episode, so we made it extra special in this compilation. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, and I want to get your feedback afterwards. You're going to hear from my wife, Melanie. She's the second episode. I'll be first. I'll be talking about living inspired on Impact. Happy wife, happy life with Melanie. You're going to hear about the champion's mindset with Brees. Episode 8, I had my mentors, some of my mentors on. You're going to hear a lesson from Coach Warren Wolf, the late Coach Warren Wolf. Episode 20 of the TD Impact Show, Cancer Sucks, a fight for family and life from Sandra Dougherty. This one brought tears to many people's eyes, and you're going to hear just a little glimmer again of what it takes to dig down deep and to have some grit. And then episode 14, Grit, Grind, and Dreams with Trina Gray. That one's going to fire you up, and you remember to say W.T.F. Remember what that stands for. And episode 48 with Bennie, Wylie, my man from Strong, now streaming on Netflix. If you didn't catch that one, you're going to want to catch it here on the compilation. My friends, without further ado, here is episode 50, a compilation of some of my favorite episodes. Today I'm giving you the beef of what impact stands for. The I in impact stands for live inspired. Live inspired. Now, in the core of your soul, just say the word inspired, because inspiration means in spirit. Inspiration means in spirit. And the most important thing that I can share with you in the Impact podcast, in this show, is to touch your spirit, your mind, body, and soul, so that your spirit is moved, so that you go be a better man or woman, a better mother or father, son or daughter, athlete or non-athlete, musician, actor, actress, grandma, grandpa. Whatever it is that you do, that I can touch your spirit, and you can go touch 10, 15, 50, 100, 1,000, or 1,000,000 other people by what you do every single day. So let me share about spirit and inspiration. For me, it's a daily fight. It's a daily fight. The inspirational part isn't just something that mysteriously happens. You're not born and you're fired up and motivated all the time. For me, my inspiration starts with my faith in God. As a purpose-driven man, I have to study, literally study the Word. For me, I get into the Bible every morning. I'll get into my devotional, which I'm holding in my hands right now on that. It's time spent. Is it easy? Nope, it's not. There's a lot of other distractions out there. But if I can spend even just a few minutes most days of the week working on my own faith, that's the core of the energy. Like, hey, Todd, where do you get your energy? I'm telling you right now, that comes from being purpose-driven in my faith in God. Number 2 is living in inspiration, and in inspiration, nature. For me, I love the mountains. When I'm in the mountains, my soul sings. I forget about a lot of the things that I sometimes get bogged down in the minutia. So find places that move your soul. For me, it's nature. It's time in the mountains. How about you? Where do you get inspired? I know working out for me inspires me. I feel good. It gets my mind right. Listening to podcasts. Going to live events. Live events, there's nothing like feeling the DNA of a live event and the hustle and the bustle and the vibration in a room at a live event. What conferences, what retreats, what mentorships are you attending now? And maybe you have to have a carrot. You got to sign up for something to say, I'm going to go to this live event in 3 months or 6 months because I know if I do that, I will be a better man or woman or a better industry leader in that. What else? A couple more. Inspiration, people. Let me ask you a question. Who inspires you? Whoever that is, hang on to them more. Listen to them more. Study with them. Get on their inner circle. Whoever that is, make a list of the 5 or 10 people who that you listen to who inspire you. And maybe it's in your family. Maybe it's in your job. Maybe it's within your industry, or maybe it's outside of your industry. It's a podcast, someone you listen to. I simply ask you to spend more time with them, listening to them, learning from them, watching them. And all of a sudden, your words will start to become just like theirs. First, what brings you the most joy as a mom?
So I was always that girl who wanted kids. Like I always knew I wanted to have babies. There was no question. And honestly, I didn't have Luke until I was 33. So I was kind of an older mom. So those three people in this world just bring me humongous joy. And I mean, I know everybody feels that way about their own kids, but I love watching them play sports. I love just looking at them. I love feeding them. I love hanging with them. McKenna, I joke around. She's like my little best friend, little pet. She goes everywhere with me and we are super tight and I just love it. And I know it's going to change a little bit as she gets busier and older, but it's like, I'm so good hanging with them.
I was laughing last night. Luke, who is a junior in high school, he had about 10 of his friends over here at the house, and you were just conveniently doing dishes during that time. I know,
and you kept wanting me to come into the other room to like go over these questions, and I was like, I don't want to do this right now. I want to go like do the dishes so I can just like look at these cute kids and just be around them and just, get a feel, because it's hard to get a feel for them now. They're, 16, 17. It's rare that I get them all at my house. So I was trying to feed them and, get them set up.
As a parent, even now as a father, I find that my greatest joy doesn't come in the big trips. It's actually, especially like over the last year, I've actually enjoyed a lot of the little things, the daily things. I love breakfast time when everyone's at the breakfast table together, and dinner time when I'm in town, and we're all eating together. You always put together a healthy dinner. I'm always most grateful for that. You do a great job just gathering the family.
We do a lot of breakfast together, which is kind of funny because we kind of are all on the same schedule. We're out of the house early. We're all breakfast eaters. So I would almost say like 4 days a week we have breakfast together at the kitchen table, which I love as well.
Too. And then for me with the kids, just now the little things, tossing a football with Luke. I find
you are going to so miss that.
I'm going to totally miss that.
You're going to miss high school football. You're going to miss it so much.
And then Brady, the cool thing about coaching at the high school now is Brady's out there and he's training, and he's the only kid who's got the biggest grin and smile on his face. I'm making these kids like run sprints and hills and getting ready, for this season. And here Brady has got this huge grin. And I just love seeing how he enjoys working out. And
I
with
know.
McKenna,
I've been telling that story a lot. He's this little linebacker with this big smile on his face.
He's a middle linebacker with a smile on his face. That don't usually work.
Doesn't look mean at all, but he's so cute.
And McKenna, for me, joy, I just love watching her. I love watching her play soccer, lacrosse, it doesn't matter. She is a mini you, but she's so beautiful, and she's growing up way too quick. It is crazy.
That is true.
You've heard me talk a million times about get your mind right.
Yeah.
I'll send these crazy videos. You get these rooster calls coming back at me.
Right.
If we were to just share for a moment, if there's anyone listening in today that needs to get their mind right, a mom or a dad, grandma, grandpa, a young kid, how do you get your mind right? How would you suggest they get their mind right?
I think the times where I get most frustrated with myself, and this truly is like a get your mind right moment, is when I wake up and I don't have a plan for the day. So I've gotten in the habit of every night, just jotting down a few notes. Like, man, when I get up in the morning, I'm going to accomplish this. Like, this is the first thing I'm going to do. Because once that happens, then you build, you develop a little confidence. And it's like, all right, man, it's the make your bed philosophy, right? It's the make your bed. Admiral McRaven, right? Like, get up, make your bed. You've accomplished something, right? And so then it's on to the next objective, and then you knock that down. It's on to the next
kids,
objective.
Hear that, kids?
You knock that down, right? Yeah, make your bed. Yeah, for them, not literally, but yes. So you can bounce a quarter off it. But it's that mindset. It's that when you wake up and you immediately start a mindset of productivity, then I think you not only develop confidence, but man, you feel good about yourself, and you feel like you're getting a jump start on the day. And I think it's just starting the day off the right way.
Absolutely.
And it just sets the tone. It sets the tone for the rest of the day. Otherwise, I feel like you kind of go through the day, and I know I've had these moments where it's like, man, I wasted an hour this morning. I can't get that hour back. You know what I'm saying? I could have done this, and this, and I I got distracted, or I did this, I did that. So, man, when you can wake up and you feel like you've gotten a jump start on the day, I think it just sets the tone.
The first one is Coach Wolf, Warren Wolf. 52 years as the head football coach at Brick, New Jersey. I remember being 5 years old and hanging over the fence, dreaming of the day that I would someday play for Coach Wolf. Finally, when I got to high school, I had the opportunity. And I remember practice after practice, Coach Wolf would say, "Run it again, run it again, run it again." I learned right then and there the 5 P's to success. Perfect practice produces peak performance. Perfect practice produces peak performance. You have to be willing to practice day after day, night after night. Matter of fact, one day, it was a scrimmage. And I had only gotten yelled at by Coach Wolf a couple times in my high school career, but one time it was third and short, and I got stuffed at the goal line. And he comes over and he peels the dirt off my face mask. He says, "Durkin, why are you playing so robotic?" I still laugh to this day of Coach coming over saying, "Durkin, why are you playing so robotic? You gotta loosen up." Well, as I was peeling the dirt off my face mask too, I remember that you gotta play loose. You gotta just play. You can't always play so mechanical. That was a lesson right then and there from one of my coaches about how I could loosen up and just feel the game versus always thinking and being cerebral. Another aspect that Coach Wolf taught me happened to be on Labor Day. It was 1988, Labor Day, 1988. And Coach Wolf, right after the warm-ups, just 10 minutes into the practice, he blew his whistle as he always does, and everyone runs in thinking that practice was going to end. And Coach Wolf said, "Boys, you've been working hard. You've been working real hard. As a matter of fact, you've been working so hard, you deserve something special today." And we're all looking around at each other thinking, "Oh yeah, Coach Wolf is going to let us off of practice today." And just then he says, "And I know how bad you want a championship. As a matter of fact, because you want a champion so bad, today is Labor Day. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to labor, 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 labor." And I remember, as good as it was yesterday, the look on all of our faces, knowing for the next two and a half hours, it was going to be pure hell as we labored. And sure enough, that year we won a championship because of the labor. There's not a Labor Day that goes by that I don't think of Coach Wolf blowing that whistle, calling us up together, and seeing a bunch of 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-old men thinking, labor. If you want to build a championship, that's what you got to do. You got to labor. So many great lessons from Coach Wolf, and he continues to serve as a mentor today. He's 92 years old. And another lesson that Coach Wolf taught me was the power of a handshake. The power of a handshake. You know, Coach Wolf was always a guy who believed in the power of a firm handshake. He'd say, "No limp fish handshakes, no limp fish." Because when any game was over, win or loss, he'd stand at the entrance to where we'd go in the locker room, and he'd thank every player as they walked out and hand them a piece of fruit. And he'd say, "Thank you for being a Brick football player." And he'd hand us a piece of fruit, and he'd give us a nice firm handshake. And he'd talk about the power of looking in someone's eye and giving them a strong handshake. And today, when I think about a firm handshake and looking someone in the eye, the power of touch. The power of touch and a firm handshake goes a long way. Remember when you shake someone's hand today, to give a firm handshake, look them in the eye, and know that there's a spirit and a soul behind those eyes. The power of touch. And lastly, Coach Wolf would always talk about before any game, do your job. Do your job. Folks, in a day today when all of us want more success and more significance, I think it's important that we do our job. It's not anyone else's fault. It's not anyone else's problem or responsibility. You got to do your job. And doing your job typically takes more time, effort, practice, diligence, discipline, focus than ever before. But ultimately, it comes down to do your job. Do your job. That still wakes me up today about how could I do a better job in what I do. Coach Wolf, thank you for the lessons that you've always taught me. Coach Wolf is the mayor, the superintendent of the schools. He was the head football coach. He served at his church, and he was an icon. Mentor number one, Coach Wolf, So many lessons that impact me today.
I agree.
Let's shoot through a few of those things that you do on a regular basis, daily basis, in the time we have left.
I'll tell you, I started with my water
Okay.
every day.
How much?
Nope, not how much, it's what. I do not drink anything that is not ultra pure. I do not drink anything with fluoride or chlorine in it.
Okay.
That happened the very next week.
What kind of water would it be then?
I use Enagic.
Enagic.
There are other ones. It also happens to be alkalized. That's kind of controversial and not my main reason for using it. It's ionized water, and it's small molecules that gets as hydrated as possible.
Next.
Number one.
That's one.
Number two, I went all vegan, plant-based, and it was completely pretty much raw for the first 5 or 6 months.
Okay.
Every day I wake up, I pray and meditate.
Tell me about that.
I pray to God for guidance, and I meditate within myself so I can hear the guidance. That is key, because if I did not start there, my mind would not be right. My heart would not be right. I would have gone. I would have hit the ground running with anger and hate and why me's, instead of I'm hitting the ground running in a direction with the picture in my mind of total health. That's
so you visualize as well.
every day.
Is
I
that
visualize
first thing in the morning, like before you get the boys up?
In theory.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I'm not just a single parent. I'm an only parent.
Yeah.
That's a whole different ballgame, I realize.
Yeah.
And it's also wonderful. I just decided that this will not be a negative for them. Of course, there are negatives, but they will never look back on this time and think it was all bad.
Yeah.
No.
How about two more things? Water, plant-based, pray, meditate, visualize. You got that.
Meditation.
We'll be maybe one or two more things you do on a regular basis to help you win the day. Just to get through the day.
I have a coach/counselor.
Love it.
That I see every week since it happened.
Yep.
And she keeps my head on straight.
Bingo.
Every day I have make lifestyle choices.
Great.
I do chiropractic regularly. I do acupuncture regularly. I bought a $10,000 sauna
Good for you.
because I
Good
heard
for you.
infrared is one of
Infrared,
the best things you can do for yourself on the planet.
Good for you.
I got one. I bought the best of the best. I just said I'm going for it.
Good for you. So the investment in your health, obviously, we talk
Heavily.
about it all the time, but obviously when you have been in that in the shoes you've walked in, I always talk about this: he or she who has 1,000 has their health has 1,000 dreams. He or she who does not has one. Let me repeat: he or she who has their health has 1,000 dreams, but he or she who does not has one. Get your health back. And walking through your shoes and in your shoes, you know the value of health. If there, besides those 5 great points, would there be any other things that you would share with any of our listeners today who may really resonate with some of the things you're talking about? It's as we share this, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and would there be any other things you would share with either the mindset, the soul set, the physical set, with anyone listening in today?
Yeah, I would say, do not take anything that a person, and in my case it was doctors and literally everyone around me, saying this is what your destiny is, and make it your own. Make your own stuff your own. And I made it my mission to get inspired and find another story to be told. And every day I walk in that. Every day I make up my own story. And I've had people say, well, maybe you should be in reality. Why? That's a reality that is not a pleasant one. And I do not, even if I never live one day longer, I don't believe that's my destiny, but I am absolutely at peace with even if I do not live one day longer, I will live it healthier, and I'd rather live until that day believing I can live.
Fired up.
That's my. I don't want to live every day knowing it's going to end.
Sandra Dougherty, you are an inspiration.
Trina, I've got to share this story because this was one where I actually got concerned for a moment. We were at a mastermind retreat, and you're giving this unbelievable talk on balance in life and what it takes to be successful as a mom and as an entrepreneur and running a gym and having all these roles. And I'm in the back and I'm smiling and I'm so like, I love listening to you speak. But then you said something that I was like, where's she going? You said W.T.F. I'm like, oh no, where's she going with this? Can you please share what W.T.F. is and why you said that and what was the point of saying it? Because you got my attention real quick that day.
Okay, well, I was raised by a really proper mom and dad, so that would not be me to throw that down on stage in the way that you thought it was coming out. But I did intend to get people's attention by saying that. What did I mean by that? I meant these 3 words that I think have positively impacted the past 6 years of my life. And WTF to me in my world means, what the focus are you doing? Right? I needed at this point in my life that I heard this lesson on what the focus, I needed someone to literally physically shake me with these words and say, what the focus, Trina? When you're trying to do everything, you will do nothing well. Todd, at the time I heard those words, I bet many people listening can relate to where I was. Mm-hmm. I was buried. I was overworked. My own self-care fell off the list. I was struggling in just daily grind of life and not knowing where my best path forward was. That by trying to do a little bit of everything for everybody, no one was getting the best of me, including me. So when I heard what the focus, it meant it could mean big picture. It could mean daily life. For me, it meant both. Big picture. Who do I want to be? Gosh, I got to be a healthy, happy woman first. It is really hard to be able to say that to yourself. But my friends, at some point in your life, you have to take care of yourself. You have to make yourself happy. You have to be the best version of you so you can serve everyone else. It gave me permission to cut some things in my life that we'll talk about. Also gave me permission in daily life. What the focus in daily life means, I am present. I can't add up all the minutes with my kids and be okay with that being enough. I'm not always with them enough. You can't be a working mom, an entrepreneur, travel, do everything you need to do and have all the hours you want with everybody in your life. So instead of worrying about the number of hours I have, I look at the quality of the time. When I'm with my family, my friends, my coworkers, my teammates, with you on this podcast, I'm wholly with you. What the focus? Give people the best of you in the time that you're with them.
Bennie, if you were talking to a young athlete today, not just at OU, but someone who desires greatness, maybe they're in high school, maybe they're even in middle school, or maybe they're in college, but they're not the starter, they don't have a scholarship, but they really have the desire to be great. What would be just one nugget maybe of wisdom that you would share with them?
Oh man, it would be hard to give them one, but I would say that the hardest thing to do in life is to be consistent. I mean, I don't care if it's in like working out. I don't care if it's going to church. I don't care if it's a dad, if it's a husband, just being consistent and doing the same things every single time that you walk in. So for a young athlete, just to be consistent. I mean, show up in the weight room, in your high school weight room, ready to grind. I mean, not Monday, not Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then week 2. Are you going to be the same consistent dude that was there, that was excited week 1? Of course you're excited week 1. I mean, crap, you better be excited week 1. But are you the same way week 7? Are you excited? Are you grinding? I'm not going to say it's going to be easy every time, but being like consistent with like what you're doing and like how you're going about your business. So I would just tell the young athlete just to be consistent. I mean, like I tell that young lady, show up on the court, show up like in the dirt, wherever you are, show up and just be consistent.
Amen. Oh, I love that. And are you a believer as a coach in focusing on strengthening your strengths or focusing on your weaknesses?
Yes, both. I would say you of course have to work on your weaknesses. You have to, but if you don't continue to build your strengths and continue to pour into, because to me, those are things that God gave you. Your strengths are are like God given. You know, those are the things. I mean, just like you, I mean, God gave you a very specific knack of getting the very best out of people. And I mean, you can pull it out, man. It's unbelievable because you pulled it out of me, you know? And so, but if you don't continue to pour into that and get better at it and read more books and go to more seminars and talk to more people, and I mean, like, I know you put a pretty good circle of people around you that you like lean into. So if you didn't do that, then you're not going to continue to get better. And so now your strength isn't your strength. Now your strength is a weakness. So now you got two things that you're working on that you've got to build up. So I would say both.
There you go, my friends. 7 different nuggets that you can chew on all day long to fire you up. Now, realize this. It was hard to take 50 episodes, the big 50, 50 episodes into just 7 little clips. But, hey, I pride myself that every episode is going to have a nugget. Every episode is going to have some wisdom in it. So feel free to step back 1 through 50, and I believe you're always going to get some great value out of every episode. And my promise to you is that the next 50 are going to continue to bring the heat as well. And like I said in the beginning of today's episode, please do us a favor. Please go on to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, and write a review. They really help us out. And if you like today's compilation, don't be afraid to share it with the world, because the world needs more motivation and inspiration. Have an incredible day, and don't forget to train hard, eat right, and of course, live inspired.